Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Podcast Every Day.
We are so glad you are here with us today.
Today, we are talking about negotiating priorities when you have too much work.
This is a very real workplace situation, and honestly, almost everyone faces it at some point.
You may have 5 important tasks, 3 urgent requests, and only enough time to do 2 of them well.
And that is when English becomes more than grammar. You need language that helps you explain limits professionally.
Exactly. Today, we will practice how to say you are overloaded without sounding negative or unhelpful.
We will also learn how to ask, what should come first, in a natural and confident way.
You will hear 2 workplace conversations, useful phrases, and detailed explanations for intermediate to advanced learners.
So take a breath, picture your busy inbox, and let us learn how to negotiate priorities calmly and clearly.
Before our first conversation, let us explore why negotiating priorities is such an important workplace communication skill. When you have too much work, the problem is not always your effort.
Exactly. Sometimes the problem is that the expectations are unclear, the timeline is unrealistic, or everything has been labeled urgent.
That is why negotiating priorities matters. It helps you move from silent stress to clear agreement.
And it is not the same as complaining. Negotiating priorities means discussing what should happen first, what can wait, and what needs more support.
Our first key phrase is be at capacity. If you are at capacity, you have no extra time or energy to take on more work.
For example, I am at capacity this week, so I need to confirm which task should come first.
Another example is the design team is at capacity until Thursday.
This phrase sounds professional because it focuses on workload, not emotion.
Our second phrase is competing priorities. Competing priorities are important tasks that need attention at the same time.
You might say, I have a few competing priorities today, and I want to make sure I focus on the right one.
Or we need to discuss these competing priorities before we promise a deadline.
Notice the word competing. It suggests that the tasks are fighting for the same limited time.
Our third phrase is trade-off. A trade-off is what you give up when you choose one thing over another.
For example, if I finish the report today, the presentation slides will move to tomorrow. That is the trade-off.
You can also ask, what trade-off are we comfortable with here?
That question is very advanced because it does not simply say no. It asks the group to choose consciously.
Our fourth phrase is deprioritize. To deprioritize something means to make it less important for now.
For example, if the client proposal is urgent, we may need to deprioritize the internal newsletter.
Another example is, I can take this on if we deprioritize one of my current tasks.
It is a useful word, but use it carefully. It can sound formal, so in casual speech you might say move it down the list.
Our fifth phrase is align on priorities. To align on priorities means to agree about what matters most.
You can say, can we align on priorities before I start this new request?
Or, once we align on priorities, I can give you a realistic timeline.
This phrase is excellent in meetings because it sounds cooperative. You are not refusing work. You are asking for shared clarity.
So today, listen for be at capacity, competing priorities, trade-off, deprioritize, and align on priorities.
In our first conversation, Nicole has too many urgent tasks, and she needs to discuss priorities with Michael. Now let us listen to Nicole and Michael negotiate priorities when several tasks are competing for the same time. Michael, do you have 10 minutes to talk through my priorities for this week?
Sure, Nicole. What is going on?
I am at capacity right now, and I have 3 competing priorities that all seem urgent.
Thanks for flagging that early. Which 3 tasks are you balancing?
First, the client report is due Wednesday morning. Second, the dashboard update is due Friday. Third, Adam asked me to help with the sales deck today.
That is a lot. How much time does each one need?
The client report needs about 6 more hours. The dashboard needs 4. The sales deck could take 2 or 3, depending on the changes.
Given those estimates, what feels most at risk?
The client report. If I shift focus to the sales deck today, I may not finish the report by Wednesday.
That makes sense. The client report has the highest external impact.
Exactly. I can take on the sales deck, but the trade-off is that the dashboard update will probably move to next week.
That is a helpful way to frame it. We need to decide which trade-off is acceptable.
My recommendation is to keep the client report first, deprioritize the dashboard update, and give Adam 1 hour of support instead of 3.
I like the structure. Can you still give Adam something useful in 1 hour?
Yes, I can review the key slides, highlight the biggest issues, and send quick notes.
That sounds reasonable. What do you need from me?
I need help aligning on priorities, so I can communicate the plan clearly to Adam.
Then let us align now. Client report first, sales deck support second, dashboard update third.
Great. Should I tell Adam that I can help for 1 hour today, but not fully own the deck?
Yes, you can say you are at capacity and can provide targeted support.
Targeted support sounds better than saying I do not have time.
Exactly. It focuses on what you can do, not only what you cannot do.
Do you want me to mention that the dashboard update will move to next week?
Yes, but phrase it as a result of the priority decision, not as a failure.
So I could say, since the client report is the top priority, I will move the dashboard update to Monday.
Perfect. That sounds clear and professional.
Thanks. I was worried it would sound like I was pushing back.
Pushing back is not always bad. When done professionally, it protects quality and prevents missed deadlines.
That helps. I will send Adam a message with the 1 hour support option and the updated order of priorities.
Good, and if Adam needs more than that, ask him to come to me so we can discuss the trade-off together.
Great. I feel much clearer now.
That is the goal. Too much work becomes easier to manage when priorities are explicit.
Let us analyze how Nicole negotiated priorities clearly, respectfully, and without sounding defensive. Nicole started with, "Do you have 10 minutes to talk through my priorities for this week?"
That is a great opening because she does not begin with panic. She asks for a short, focused conversation.
The phrase "talk through" means discuss something carefully so everyone understands it.
You can say, "Can we talk through the timeline?" Or, "I would like to talk through the options before we decide."
Then Nicole said, "I am at capacity right now." This is more professional than saying, "I am too busy."
"I am too busy" can sound like a complaint. "I am at capacity" sounds like a workload fact.
She also used competing priorities. This phrase helps explain that the issue is not laziness or poor planning.
It tells the listener, several important things need attention, and we need to choose wisely.
A very strong sentence was, "I can take on the sales deck, but the trade-off is that the dashboard update will probably move to next week."
That sentence is excellent because it offers a choice. It does not hide the consequence.
The phrase "take on" means accept responsibility for a task.
For example, I can take on the client call, or I cannot take on another project this week.
Nicole then gave a recommendation. "My recommendation is to keep the client report first, deprioritize the dashboard update, and give Adam 1 hour of support."
This is much stronger than saying, "I do not know what to do." She brings a solution, not just a problem.
Michael suggested the phrase "targeted support." This means limited, focused help for a specific need.
Targeted support sounds positive. because it tells people exactly what kind of help you can provide.
Finally, Nicole practiced saying, since the client report is the top priority, I will move the dashboard update to Monday.
That is a beautiful structure. Since priority A is first, task B will move. Clear, calm, and professional.
The lesson is that priority negotiation works best when you name the workload, explain the trade-off, and propose a realistic next step.
Now let us learn how to push back professionally, offer options, and protect quality when the workload is too high. In the first half, we focused on naming the problem and aligning on priorities.
Now we need another skill. What do you say when someone gives you a new urgent request, but your plate is already full?
First, notice that phrase, my plate is full. It means I already have a lot of work or responsibilities.
You can say, my plate is full today, but I can look at it tomorrow morning.
Or, I want to help, but my plate is full unless we move something else.
Our first new phrase is push back. To push back means to question, resist, or challenge a request in a professional way.
For example, I need to push back on the deadline because the scope has changed.
Or she pushed back respectfully and asked which task should be delayed.
Pushing back is not rude when you explain the reason and offer options.
Our second phrase is the scope has changed. Scope means the size or limits of a task or project.
You can say the scope has changed, so the original deadline may not be realistic.
Another example is if we add 3 more sections, the scope changes and we need more time.
This phrase is useful because it moves the discussion away from personal effort and toward project reality.
Our third phrase is what can be moved. This is a polite question for negotiating priorities.
For example, if this needs to be done today, what can be moved to tomorrow?
Or I can take this on, but what can be moved off my list?
That question is powerful because it accepts the possibility of the new work while protecting your capacity.
Our fourth phrase is a realistic timeline. A realistic timeline is a schedule that can actually be achieved.
You can say, I want to give you a realistic timeline, rather than promise something I cannot deliver.
Or once we confirm the scope, I can share a realistic timeline.
Our fifth phrase is protect quality. This means to make decisions that keep the work good, accurate, and reliable.
For example, to protect quality, we should either extend the deadline or reduce the scope.
That sentence is excellent because it gives 2 clear options instead of simply saying, I cannot do it.
A common mistake is saying, I cannot handle this, with no explanation or alternative.
A stronger version is, I can help with this, but to protect quality, we need to adjust the timeline or reduce the scope.
In our second conversation, listen for pushback, scope, what can be moved, realistic timeline, and protect quality. Now Adam and Sky will negotiate a new urgent request while protecting quality and keeping the conversation professional.
Sky, do you have a minute? A new request just came in from the leadership team.
Sure, what do they need?
They want a revised market summary by tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon is tight. My plate is already full with the customer analysis and the quarterly slides.
I know. I wanted to check what would be realistic before I respond.
Thanks for asking. If this needs to be done by tomorrow, we need to discuss what can be moved.
That is fair. The customer analysis is due Friday, and the quarterly slides are due Thursday morning.
The quarterly slides are not flexible because the meeting is Thursday, correct?
Correct. Those need to be ready.
Then I need to push back on the market summary deadline unless we reduce the scope.
What scope would be manageable by tomorrow?
I could provide a 2-page summary with the top 3 trends and key risks, but a full revised report with charts and recommendations would need until Monday.
That gives us 2 options. Quick summary by tomorrow, full report by Monday.
Exactly. I want to give them a realistic timeline rather than promise a full report and rush the analysis.
That makes sense. To protect quality, we should be clear about what they are getting.
Yes, otherwise, they may expect a detailed report and receive a quick summary.
Could we also move part of the customer analysis to next week if they choose the full report by Monday?
Yes, but only the final formatting. The main analysis still needs to be done this week.
Understood. So what should I tell leadership?
Tell them we can meet the timing if they want a shorter summary. If they need the full scope, Monday is the realistic timeline.
That is clear. Do you want me to mention that your plate is full?
You can mention that I am balancing two existing deadlines, but I would focus on the options.
Good idea. Options sound more solution-oriented.
Exactly. I do not want the message to be, Sky cannot do it. I want the message to be, here are the realistic choices.
I like that. It keeps the tone professional and proactive.
Also, if they need the quick summary, I can send a draft by noon tomorrow and a final version by 3.
That is helpful. Specific times make the option feel reliable.
Exactly. I am not avoiding the work. I am protecting quality and setting clear expectations.
I will send them the two options and ask which one they prefer.
Thanks, Adam. Once they decide, I can adjust my schedule.
Sounds good. This is a good example of pushing back without blocking progress.
That is the balance I am aiming for.
Let us compare simple B1 workplace English with more professional B2 language for negotiating priorities and workload. A B1 speaker might say, I am too busy. That is understandable, but it can sound emotional or final.
A B2 version is, I am at capacity right now, and I have a few competing priorities.
That sounds more professional because it explains the situation without blaming anyone.
Another B1 sentence is, I cannot do this today. It is clear, but it does not offer a path forward.
A B2 version is, I can take this on, but what can be moved off my list?
That sentence is excellent because it is cooperative. It says yes, but it also asks for a trade-off.
Let us look at softeners. Sky said, tomorrow afternoon is tight. That is softer than tomorrow afternoon is impossible.
Tight means difficult because there is not much time. It does not completely reject the request.
Another softener is may. The original deadline may not be realistic sounds more flexible than the deadline is wrong.
Hedging words like may, might, probably, and could help you sound thoughtful, especially when you are discussing risks.
But do not hedge too much. If every sentence has maybe, might, and perhaps, your message can sound weak.
A balanced sentence is, I can provide a shorter summary by tomorrow, but the full report would need until Monday.
That sentence gives options, explains limits, and still sounds helpful.
Now a grammar fix. Do not say, I need to discuss about the priority. Say, I need to discuss the priority.
Discuss takes a direct object. Discuss the timeline, discuss the workload, discuss the trade-off.
Another common mistake is, I have too much works. Work is usually uncountable in this meaning, so say too much work.
If you want a countable word, say tasks. I have too many tasks, or I have too many requests.
Finally, remember the structure, either A or B. To protect quality, we should either extend the deadline or reduce the scope.
That structure is perfect for negotiation because it gives clear choices instead of creating confusion.
The goal is to sound realistic, solution-oriented, and calm, even when you truly have too much work. Let us review the vocabulary, grammar, and workplace strategies from today's episode about negotiating priorities. Today we learned that having too much work is not always a personal failure.
Sometimes the real issue is unclear priorities, unrealistic timelines, or several important tasks competing for the same time.
From the first part, remember be at capacity, competing priorities, trade off, deprioritize, and align on priorities.
In Conversation 1, Nicole explained her workload, named the trade-off. and asked Michael to align on priorities.
She also used useful language like talk through, take on, targeted support, and since this is the top priority, that will move.
From the second part, remember push back, the scope has changed. What can be moved, realistic timeline, and protect quality.
In conversation 2, Sky pushed back professionally by offering 2 options instead of simply refusing the request.
The options were a shorter summary by tomorrow or a full report by Monday, which made the trade-off clear.
We compared B1 and B2 language. B1 says, I am too busy. B2 says, I am at capacity and have a few competing priorities.
For grammar, remember discuss the priority, not discuss about the priority.
Also remember that work is usually uncountable in this meaning, so say too much work, not too much works.
A strong negotiation structure is, I can do A by this time, or I can do B by that time. Which is more important?
The main lesson is that professional priority negotiation protects deadlines, quality, and relationships.
When you communicate limits clearly, you are not being difficult. You are helping the team make better decisions.
That is all for today's episode of English Podcast Every Day.
We hope you feel more confident negotiating priorities when your workload is too high.
This week, practice one sentence before you need it at work.
Try saying, I can take this on, but what can be moved off my list?
If this episode helped you, subscribe and listen again to practice the vocabulary, rhythm, and pronunciation.
Remember, clear communication can turn overload into a real plan.
Thanks for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.